Okay, beautiful soul, welcome back to this week's edition of the You Unlimited podcast. I am so grateful you're here. I'm your host, Christina Deering, and I'm really grateful to dig into this topic that I was actually channeling on while I was walking yesterday. And it's all about how to optimize your energy in alignment with the things that you're desiring to manifest this year, the goals that you have, whatever verbiage you're using around what you're desiring to attract in and to experience this year. It's all about how do I really optimize my energy because we are source energy. How do I optimize and get into alignment with that source energy so that I get that much closer to my goals over and over and over again? So, what's really fun is about starting to really tune in. There's like some tactical things we can talk about, and then there's also some energetic things we can talk about. But if we start with some of like these tactical things, it's really powerful to start to tune in and just notice, where do you typically get the most energy? Is it certain times of day that you feel like you're most energized, right? Like some people wake up and they're morning people, right? Some people are like, oh, I'm a night owl. And how can you actually begin to set your day up for success so that your clients are getting the best of you, so that you can serve the way that your heart and soul truly desires to? The second I began to set up my business in alignment with my energy, everything changed. It was like there was so much more joy. I was able to serve and on an even deeper capacity. I was able to really show up for my clients in ways that I didn't even know that I was missing, or it was like, whoa, like I just have so much more energy to be able to give into the space and it feels so good versus let me try to fit it in here. Let me try to, when I first actually quit corporate and stepped into entrepreneurship full time, I realized I was setting up my calendar like I did in corporate. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, why do I feel so tired? Why do I feel so burned out? And I was realizing I was not living in full alignment with the hours that I truly felt most optimal. Like I could show up and serve to the highest capacity. And so I got really clear on like what would that look like and how could I start to create more pockets of time for CEO things that I need to really be focusing on, because it's not just about serving, it's also about how do I serve at a greater capacity? How do I expand? What is my vision? Right? So if you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, it's really important that you not only are just in the doing, but like, let's talk about vision. Let's start to really tune in and say, where do I want to take my business? What would feel really amazing and glorious to actually experience this year in business? And so for me, I started recognizing when I would put my one-on-one mentorship calls on certain days and then I opened up my calendar on other days, it allowed me to not only serve my clients even more because I was in that mode, right? I was in coaching mode, mentorship mode, like I was already in it. And so it made sense to kind of have those calls closer together on certain days. And it was like, okay, I'm already like in that mode. And what days could I really serve best? And then the other days gave me spaciousness to say, is there some admin stuff I need to be taking care of? What can I use this time for when I'm building something new? Can I actually start to tune into the bigger vision and really allow myself to step into that? Do I need to lean into healing today, right? Like we're not just doing like the check the boxes and vision and goals and all of these things. Like a big part of my business strategy is self-care. A huge part of my business strategy is healing, right? And in order to get to our next level version of business, we have to heal what's in the way of what we want. So there will be days where we feel off. There will be days where we're like, I need spaciousness to go see my healer, right? Whether it's in person, online, whatever that looks like. I really started to make it crystal clear, like, and really tune into my energy and say, like, what do I need to serve at the highest capacity? And so I started creating pockets of time and certain days where I was leaning into healings, where it was like a big self-care day. And then other days where I was leaning into more of like the behind the scenes, the bookkeeping, like things like that. And then other days where it was more visionary. And what's cool is of those days, there's flexibility, right? Knowing that if today I wake up and it was supposed to be a bookkeeping day, but I'm like, man, something feels off, I have the ability to switch those, right? Because I'm not having all of these scattered meetings throughout the entire week like I did in corporate. Now they're more consolidated. And so there was so much peace that was brought into my nervous system the second I started to really optimize my schedule based on my own energy and how I could best serve. And I know that my clients felt a difference because they were like, whoa, like she's on it. Her, she's like jumping in here. She's got fire energy moving through her. There's just more powerful channeling that was happening because I was in the zone versus being taken in and out of different zones. So that I found to be really, really powerful was just around setting myself up for success. And some of the other things that I started to do tactically too was I just started to really tune in and say, how do I want to feel this year? Like how do I want to feel today? How did I want to feel or what would I have liked to have felt more of the last 3 months or the last year? That's a really powerful question to ask yourself. Like, what do you want to feel on a day to day basis? Ask yourself that question and then start to tune in and say, what has me feel that already? So, for instance, if you're wanting to feel energized, if you're wanting to feel motivated, if you're wanting to feel present, what are some things that you already do or that you could prioritize more of or even schedule in more of that has you feel those things? So for me, that is getting outside and taking a walk. If I can do that during the weekdays, especially every single day, Monday through Friday, I feel like a different woman. Like I'm like, the sun is shining on my face. I'm receiving the codes from like the mother nature, from the sun, just from like the fresh air. I'm breathing differently. The world feels like I've got more space to breathe. I don't feel like I'm stuck in my moment by being inside of my house, right? Like it just gives me spaciousness. It gives me that movement. It gives me all of those beautiful, all of the beautiful oxytocin and serotonin and all of those things that we start to experience when we're in movement, when we're in the sun, when we're just being deeply present with a moment. So those are things that's something that I just naturally prioritize is movement of some kind. Walking, especially getting my body out in the sun feels so good. Feels so, so, so good. And I also, something that I found that really supported me was around shifting my relationship with food, and it actually deeply started to impact my business and my life in so many different ways. So if you've been listening to this podcast, you've heard me talk about this before about how I had an eating disorder in my 20s, and so my relationship with food it wasn't great, and it was one of those that I had to really heal through and better understand what were the root causes of it and things of that nature. And the second I started channeling, like food is energy. So start to look at food as energy. How do you feel when you eat this thing? And it wasn't about, I need to eat a perfect meal every single meal to feel optimal. Sometimes the thing that felt really good was having the ice cream. Sometimes the thing that felt really good was having the grilled chicken and the carrots and the sweet potato. Sometimes the thing that felt really good was fill in the blank. And so it was really fun to start to realize that food is energy. And so, how do I feel when I'm no longer depriving myself of certain things and I'm letting myself have whatever it is I desire, but I'm taking notice of how I feel after I ingest that thing? So, for instance, let's say this is typically how I am with desserts. I'll have a dessert because I'm just like, oh, I haven't had one in a while. It sounds really good. I want to have it. I'll have it. And then afterwards, I usually get that ping like, yeah, I don't really feel good. And I'm like, I think I'm good for like a month, like I don't really need it again because I again tune into the energy and I'm like, I just feel either tired or irritable or my body just feels off, right? Now I enjoyed it. I'll never deprive myself of something. It's like it's such a beautiful relationship I have with food now. I'm not going to deprive myself of it, but I started to tune into the energy of it, which then allowed me to have so much more energy during my workday as I'm building my business, as I'm starting to lean into my goals even more, as I'm showing up for my family and my friends and my partner and all of these beautiful pockets and places that I show up. I feel so much more energized when I'm completely conscious, or at the very least, a little bit conscious about how food is equating to the energy that I feel during the day. It's equating to the mental clarity that I have during the day, all of these things. And it took all the pressure off of thinking I have to have a perfect diet, I have to do it a certain way. It's like, what is my body craving? If it's craving the sweet, have the sweet. If it's craving the healthy food, have the healthy food, right? And then you'll notice your body starts to crave more of that healthy food because of how good it makes you feel. So, with that in mind, these are all like tactical things that you can start to really lean into to say, how can I optimize my goals? And so that my body feels better, my spirit feels more aligned, my mental clarity is there. And these are really powerful ways to start to move even more steadily and even more in alignment towards your goals that you're tackling this year. Now, something really beautiful, how we can really set ourselves up for success as well, is to start to notice and tune into our human design. So, if you haven't done that yet, I 10 out of 10 recommend leaning into your human design. It's going to teach you a lot about yourself, your energy, how you make decisions, how you know when something is in alignment with you energetically, how you know when something is not in alignment with you. So, for instance, as a generator by human design, I know that when I feel deeply satisfied doing something, I'm like, ah, it's in alignment. I feel so good. I feel like this podcast right now. I feel deep satisfaction. Channeling, being here with you, it just feels so right. And if I were to say, let's say it was yesterday and that was a Sunday, and I was like taking the time, I was just like, oh, I need to push it. I have to get this podcast episode out. That would be a completely different energy than it would be if I allowed myself to be energetically aligned with creation. So, me, whenever I'm recording podcast episodes, it's not obligatory. It's like I cannot wait to serve. I'm so grateful to see what channels through me. It feels so good to be here and connected with you, your soul. I'm intentional about the energy that I'm setting in this space, protecting the energy in the space, and blessing everyone that's listening in the space, asking Source to do that through me. And so that's the beauty of knowing with human design when something's aligned for me because I feel deep satisfaction. Now, if I tried to push this and I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm way behind, it's due tomorrow, I need to show up, I have to do this, then my energy typically will feel frustrated. That's my human design. A generator is either going to feel deep satisfaction or deep frustration when something's out of alignment. So it'll feel more obligatory. It'll feel kind of heavy. It'll feel like, okay, let's just get this done. And who likes tuning into a podcast when you can tell someone's energy is like, meh, I guess I have to do this? Like, that's not fun. That's not exciting. We're all intuitive. We can feel that when someone doesn't want to be in the room, whether it's virtually or an actual physical room. Like, we're so tuned in and tapped in. And so it's so important for us to, again, follow the different pings and the different information data sets that tell us more about ourselves. So if you haven't checked out your human design, a 10 out of 10 recommend it. There's so much you can learn about yourself. And it really helped me to get in tune with my energy and how I can best show up as well, make decisions, and know what's in alignment versus out of alignment. And then, of course, when we think about the body is such a powerful tool to tell us when something is in alignment. So if you're feeling, again, that constricted energy, like I have to do that thing, maybe you take a walk. Like, okay, let's say maybe it really is due today, and you're like, all right, it really is due today. Can you take 5 minutes before you do that thing to reset your energy, though? Because I'm telling you that 5 minutes or just even 3 deep breaths will change the experience itself. And it will allow you to have more and more clarity. It will allow you to knock out the task even faster. And it will allow you to really show up in a brand new way by just allowing yourself to be in that energy of alignment, of knowing, okay, it feels expansive now, right? How can I expand my energy with breath, with getting outside, with maybe doing something else? So it's not necessarily around like, oh, you have to have everything perfectly aligned. And then there'll, you always have to feel expanded when you're doing everything. It's about noticing even when there are certain things, let's say on the calendar, and we do feel kind of some of that constriction, but we know, okay, but it's something I still get to show up for, and it's something I still get to serve, and I get to be in integrity around. How can you reset your energy right before you do it though? Because that will be a game changer for you as well. And then take notes down the road. Maybe you realize, okay, that thing wasn't actually aligned, or maybe the day that I'm doing that thing isn't actually aligned, or the time that I'm doing it, right? Let's say you schedule a masterclass for 8 p.m. because you think you should, because your clients are typically off work at that time and they're past dinner. but you're like, I am usually in bed at this time. Like, what was I thinking? And now my son is knocking on the door and is like, put me to bed, and things like that. And it's like, oh, that's not my optimal time to serve. I feel distracted. I feel this, that, and the other. I said I would. Therefore, let me reset my energy, show up in the space, and learn something from what I just did. Next time, I'll have it maybe at noon during lunch breaks, right? Or whatever that looks like, where I've got the spaciousness to show up and deeply serve and know that maybe they get the recording later. So for those 8 PMers that really can only tune in at 8, they're able to do that with a recording, right? So we're just consistently learning more and more about our energy, but this is how we optimize our energy flow. It's so important. And then, of course, as I talked about before, healing. This is where we move all of those energetic blocks that keep us stagnant and stuck in old ways of being. So, if we can take those times to lean into, let's see, Reiki clearings, things of that nature. This is why I'm a Reiki master, because I'm like, I wanted to learn how to move my own energy, like shift my clients' energy as well, so that they can move all the things that are in their way. But there's so many different modalities that allow us to do that. This is why I got certified in breathwork. This is why I lean into shamanism. This is why I bring in tools like light language and different ways of actually allowing ourselves to really tune in and move that energy, inner child healings, whatever that is. I just let myself be a conduit for source, for your highest self, so that I can help to facilitate my client's energy, your energy, my own energy. That is my goal, is to say, let's move what's in the way of what we want. It's so, 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 so important, because we're going to get the intuitive ping to go after the thing that we desire. And then the energetic block will undoubtedly show up that says, absolutely not, stay safe, don't do that thing, which is 100% normal. But the goal is we have to move that energy so that we can step into the next level of being. Because if we were already there, we would already have our goal achieved, right? But if there's something blocking it, that's where we have to go deeper, understand what's the story that's blocking it. All of these things deeply, deeply matter. And so that's where that healing work, where it's just one of my non-negotiables and one of my biggest business strategies, is to not only be looking at the visionary stuff, to be setting goals, to be setting up my team for success, to be tuning into my energy. It's also about healing what's in the way energetically around fears, around limiting beliefs, around being really conscious that these things exist. And not only do they exist, they are our biggest blockers to the things that we're calling in, unless we know how to facilitate the movement of that energy, or we're leaning into someone that can do that. And that is why I have my healers on retainer. That is why I am a healer. And that is why I believe so strongly in, this is how we quantum leap, because often we are doing all the strategy stuff. Everything else is set up for success, but we're still not getting the thing that we want. It's because we've got an energetic block there. And that is one of the biggest and fastest ways to step into this next level version of business, is to clear the thing that's blocking your quantum leap. And it will be unique to you every single time. What's blocking you will undoubtedly be a little bit different, if not very different, from the person next to you who's doing potentially the exact same thing as you, or building something very similar. So it's really important to tune into this from a mind, body, spirit perspective. And then, of course, tactically, why not set our day up for success and lean in different ways? So I hope that this supported you. I'm sending you so much light and love. I cannot wait to see everything that you desire come to fruition. Your time is now. So I hope you receive something really beautiful and tangible from this episode. And until next time.